Welcome back, pregame.com. I'm Pauly Howard. That's Teddy Covers. Today we'll talk about how pros bet teasers. First, let's talk about key numbers in football.
Sure, and when you want to understand a basic strategy for teasers, you have to understand the concept of key numbers. Now, the NFL is not like baseball. Runs don't score one, or baseball, runs score one at a time. In football, points come generally in 3s and 7s. You kick field goals or touchdowns. Obviously, there's 2-point conversions or safeties that occasionally happen, but they mostly come 3s and 7s. So what that ends up resulting in is that teams finish games with margins of victory. Most common one is 3. The second most common one is 7. 4 and 6 are also important in the NFL when you're talking about the most common margins of victory for Team A over Team B. 3, 4, 6, and 7 points are the most common margins. So when you're betting teasers, when you're looking for a basic strategy, there's basic strategy for blackjack, there's basic strategy for teasers as well. And your basic strategy for teasers then becomes capture all of those key numbers with a single teaser bet.
Okay, now what does that mean for teasers? 10-point, 6-point, run it down.
Yeah, and there are two basic type of teasers that wise guys will play. They'll play 2-team 6-point teasers, and at times, if they have to, they'll make it a 6.5 or a 7-point teaser to make sure they're getting through those key numbers. And you'll also see the 3-team 10-point teasers. And both of those are in the range. You're either laying 11 to 10 or 12 to 10. So you're not laying an inordinate amount of juice with those type of wagers. But what it leads to is a strategy that requires you teasing bigger favorites down. You take a favorite of more than a touchdown. Team A is 7.5. Tease them down. You get the 7. You capture the 6. You capture the 4. You capture the 3. 7.5 points down goes down to 1.5 points on a 6-point teaser. That's an optimal spread. You can take an 8-point teaser down to 2. You can take an 8.5-point favorite down to 3, or down to 2.5, I should say. And those are all common, basic strategy for favorites. You're teasing the favorites of above a touchdown and making them shorter than a field goal. The opposite is also true. You take your short underdogs. Your 2.5-point dog on a 6-point teaser now becomes an 8.5-point dog. And you're teasing through the key numbers of 3, 4, 6, and 7. You take a 1.5-point dog. They become a 7.5-point dog on a 6-point teaser. And those two sweet spots, bigger favorites of more than a touchdown, shorter dogs of less than a field goal, are the vast majority of teaser bets that professional bettors are going to make. You're going to have one or the other or both.
Explain teasing through zero.
Well, you don't tease through zero. I mean, the professional bettors, and this is something that, again, that a lot of recreational players will go, oh, I got this 3-point favorite. I can make him a 3-point dog on this teaser. There's a problem for that, or with that. You're taking 6-point teaser and turning it into a 5-point teaser. Games don't tie very often. We had one in the NFL this year. We had, I think now 2 in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So to capture that pick'em price, that 0, you're paying for something that almost never happens. You're going from, in addition, when you're teasing from like a -3 to a +3, the 3's not working for you. The +3 on your teaser doesn't help you. If the game lands 3, you're not getting paid on that teaser. It's either push, and different rules have, different books have different rules for how they deal with pushes on teaser, but you never get paid for that. So when you tease through 0, you're still paying the same price. You're just not getting as many points, and certainly not as many valuable points to work in your favor. Pros won't do it. Pros will never, ever tease through 0.
Well said. Now, teasing college football and the NBA.
Let's talk about college football first, and then I'll let you ask me about the NBA. But in the NFL, one of the reasons the NFL is so good for teasers, number one, the lines are accurate. You want accurate lines when you're betting teasers. You don't want teams that are performing 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns off of their projections. In the NFL on any given week, particularly as we get into the season, when you get into October and November and into December, those lines are tight. They're right where they're supposed to be. You know that teams are power rated correctly. And that's what you want when you're betting teasers. You want those extra 6 points to mean something, to take some of the randomness out of the equation. So when you're looking to bet these teasers in the NFL versus college football, all right, number one, the lines aren't as tight in college football. throughout the course of the season. Number two, the totals are higher. What does that have to do with anything? Simple. 6 points is worth more in a game with fewer possessions when there's supposed to be points, 45 points scored, than they are in a college game with more possessions when there's supposed to be 65 points scored. And in general, college games will have about 2 touchdowns higher scoring than the NFL, and will have at least between 2 and 3 more possessions compared to the NFL. So when you're talking about teasing college football, your lines aren't as accurate. There's more points likely to be scored, and the teaser itself is not as likely to matter. Getting those extra points is not likely to matter. So I won't tease college football with the lone exception of very low total games. You got games totaled in the low 40s in college football, you can think about a teaser. Otherwise, once the total gets above 50, 52, not even maybe. It won't get involved. And in general, teasing the NFL is great. Teasing college football, not so much.
Oh, this should be interesting. NBA.
NBA.
Might learn something here.
Well, here's the beauty of it, all right? I got into this business initially. I was a college bookie in Ann Arbor. At University of Michigan, I was on the other side of the counter.
Really?
Yeah. Long story.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what we were doing. We were the absolute rank amateurs as bookmakers, especially when we started out. We knew that NFL teasers were 6 points, right? We just assumed that NBA teasers were 6 points. True story. We, for a full season, it was the following summer, the second summer, we came out to Vegas.
Yeah.
And realized what we've been doing. For a full season, we allowed all of our bettors to get 6 points in an NBA teaser instead of the 4. You know how many guys beat us? None.
Get out.
0. Not a soul. You can't beat NBA teasers. You got to be crazy to be playing NBA teasers. College basketball teasers. There's again, you don't have these key numbers that work in your favor in hoops. And they say 7's a key number because teams stop fouling down 7. Maybe. Happens sometimes. Other time it doesn't. 1, 2, and 3 are key in the NBA in a way that they're not in other sports, perhaps, because so many games are decided on a last-second shot. But the reality is that I haven't met any successful NBA teaser bettors. Not when I was back in Ann Arbor, not here in Las Vegas. I just don't know any. And when I don't see anyone beating it, that tells me something.
Excellent job. That was fun. Pauly Howard, Teddy Covers, pregame.com.